Hey y'all, sorry we're a few minutes late. See, there go little baby right there. See, little baby? See how we do it? Hey, happy birthday, Reese's Pieces. Yes, that's my birthday. Happy birthday, girl. Yes, happy birthday. Yeah, I make sure. Well, I see y'all already doing it. Wish Miss Reese's Pieces a happy birthday. Girl, it's your 20. You turned to 21, girl. Turn to 21. We're gonna keep little baby backstage since she got jokes. She wanna come to me for about my countdown. We're gonna keep little baby backstage for a minute.
My name Bennett. I ain't in it.
Y'all, you so non-confrontational until you confrontational.
From time to time, depending on the situation.
You so non-confrontational until you confrontational. Hey, Tawana. Hey, Brandon. What's up?
You know, typically, if I'm going to get confrontational, I tend to let people know when they purchase a ticket to come see me. Do you want a refund on this ticket? Because if not, I'm gonna give you the show that you so badly want. I just don't think you're ready for it.
Look at that. I just did that like literally right before we went live. I just got this. I should bring it to people's attention. They may not notice it. Little baby will notice it though. The big 40, girl. 40 was a wonderful year. You know, somebody told me when I turned 40, they said 40 is when you start just not giving a fuck. And I already didn't give a whole lot. So you know.
So it's called Fuck It 40. I thought it was Filthy 40. Okay.
Hey, listen. Drag Race All-Star Season 6 is moving to Paramount Plus. What? They're playing games.
They're doing a whole lot. Because
remember, wasn't it on HBO
Showtime? It was supposed to. Last season was supposed to be on Showtime, but they the Panini.
That's just like you know, the Real World. They're going back to the beginning, and they're gonna have the original cast from New York from the first season of the Real World.
Mm-hmm.
But that's gonna be on Paramount Plus too. I'm like, so y'all really are trying, because I want to see it. So y'all really are trying to get me to do a whole new streaming service. Like, y'all got jokes.
I think that's where Real Housewives of Miami is supposed to be on something affiliated with NBC, and they're going to launch the relaunching of Real Housewives of Miami on one of those networks. But I think it's Paramount.
They're doing too much. Anyway, y'all, let's go ahead and jump into this. So tonight, y'all know, Thursday night, we are going to be speaking of the Real Housewives in New Jersey, and then we're going to throw a little bit of that last part of the Salt Lake City reunion up in there at the end. We ain't going to spend a whole lot of time on it because it ain't a whole lot of time to spend. But we're going to give it a little something at the end because me and y'all got some things to say about
For my nerves, we're not going to spend too long because that, every time I think about it, I get eaten up.
The revival of the game is also on Paramount. Listen, unless they are going to do like Dallas did and just pretend like that whole season when Bobby was dead didn't exist and it was all a dream, unless we're going to pretend like those 2 or 3 years that it was down to the BET was a dream and we're going to start from where Derwin and Melanie was still on the show, I don't want it. Keep it. I don't want it.
I concur. To this day, I don't know how Brittany went from an 8-year-old girl to a 16-year-old at war. I did not understand that.
I just don't understand how you're going to have a whole show built on 2 couples and neither one, you write them off the show because they wanted to be paid like they were the stars of the show. Ma'am, sir, that's when I just stopped looking at it. I was like, you won't do this. You won't do this to me. Anyway, y'all, let's get on to this. So, the Real Housewives of New Jersey happened last night. Now, y'all, I know you have your notes, so we're going to rely on y'all's notes. Okay. The Real Housewives of New Jersey happened last night. So, as I remember, We sort of picked up with the ladies calling each other about the debacle. What's up, Face? Hey, babe. I just saw your text. So we just wait. We're just waiting to hear from Meek now. Didn't watch it before, not gonna watch it now. Whatever, we know. Teresa does what a lot of people do. Instead of understanding the comparison, the analogy that was being made, all you heard was she came for my kids, and the rest of the ladies are reacting to whatever version of the story they heard. I can appreciate the fact that Melissa was like, I know it was more to that story. Like, I know it's more to that story than what Teresa is giving me. So
and she gonna pay for it too.
Well, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay.
Your notes. Where's this stuff? Where do we start off here?
So we pick up where we left off with, you know, the little confrontation, if you will. And you had Marge that was saying to Jackie, it's two things you don't do in this group. You don't use analogies and you don't bring up people's kids.
Right.
Now, for those that don't understand what she meant by the analogy thing is, I think maybe 2 seasons back, she and a girl named Ziggy were having some words. Ziggy is Jewish. Now, Marge is not Jewish, but I believe her stepchildren are Jewish, or maybe her children don't matter yet. But they were going back and forth, and Marge was trying to say, well, she said something along the lines of some people would think that Hitler is a good person based off of blah, blah, rah, rah. Her hearing that was very triggering, and Ziggy went all the way to the left and called her anti-Semite, and we had to deal with that for that whole season. And yeah, so for her, she's like, yeah, we probably shouldn't be using analogies. So if anybody wondered where that came from and why she said it, that's why she said it.
I got it. Thank you for that, because thank you for that reference, because I ain't know. And but you know what? That's a conversation for another day, because I ain't even going to go down that rabbit hole. Go ahead.
Right. And Jackie,
I just gonna say this, just for the record, using Hitler in an analogy at all is just probably not a good idea. When it just. But go ahead.
I mean, that's just like, I can't remember the guy's name right now, but that's like bringing up that one person. I swear his name evades me right now, but literally committed a form of genocide on Africans. That's like somebody bringing him up in the conversation to me. It's not going to sit well. I'm not going to necessarily call you racist or prejudiced, but I'm going to be looking at you with a real serious side eye. Like, did you just bring it up to me? Okay. Right. So Jackie lets her know, I won't be conversing with her. I don't want to be around her. Now,
which of course we know it's some bullshit, because you on this show, and at some point they're gonna put y'all in a room together. But go ahead.
Perfectly fine. But I mean, if this was just real life, I could understand that. If we're going by real life,
absolutely. If this were a real life situation, yeah. Because what you're not gonna do is spread rumors about my husband at my husband's birthday party around our real friends. Because let's be clear, I get paid to be friends with you. These are people that I choose to be friends with. So what you're not gonna do is embarrass me and my family at my husband's party, and we filming. Go ahead, because I ain't even done with her.
Okay. So now we get to Teresa, and Teresa is back pulling the same BS that she been pulling with Melissa since Melissa been on this damn show. So she calls Melissa, and she says to her, I hope after this, she is not your friend anymore.
Yeah, I caught that. Go ahead, little baby. Go ahead, little baby.
You want to say something?
Little baby?
No, you good. You good.
It sounded like you had something to say. Go. Okay, my bad. Okay.
But that's that whole thing of, because Teresa does this where she wants her sister-in-law to prove her allegiance and loyalty to her by defending her, but we never see that reciprocated. And I knew when she mentioned this, and I knew when Melissa did not fully side with her, even though we already saw the previews, even without seeing the previews, I sat back like, yeah, Melissa, you about to pay for this one, baby girl. And then Teresa says, well, I only told my friends. You might have just told your friends, but you told your friends.
But she was like, I only told my friends and my family, and you kept adding the ands. But let's be clear, again, the problem is that you didn't tell her. You told everybody but her, and you told them at a time that probably was not the best time to have that conversation.
Teresa ain't that fucking dense. That's what kills me.
No, she knew what she was doing.
But it was the next thing she said that really, I was thrown off because she says any strong woman would want to know, so she must be weak.
Yeah, and I'm just like, really? When they try to tell you about your man to your face, you had all the smoke. That your old man was laying right next to you in the bed on the phone with another woman, calling you his cunt wife, and you had nothing. So don't do this.
Yeah, that's what it looked like in those flashbacks. In them flashbacks, it looked like she was trying to hear none of that. None of what people was trying to say about her husband.
You couldn't tell her nothing about Juicy Joe. And then all of a sudden, once their money is up in the air and no longer in their possession, now he's the scum of the earth. Girl, whatever.
Oh.
Well, then Teresa begins to tell Melissa what Jackie said, but she said it in an accusatory way. So rather than saying she was using an analogy to try to make me understand, she just said, well, she said that Gia blah 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 blah, and
Gia was in the bathroom doing lines. Right.
Exactly. Completely out of context of what it was she was trying to say.
Right.
Because she's trying to get Melissa
on her side
to be on her side. Because you can't tell me that she's not trying to sit here and try to push Jackie off the show. Because Jackie even said last episode, you don't run things here. Alluding to the fact that she does this stuff, if y'all caught that.
Yeah, I caught it. Basically, Teresa is really, I don't know what her storyline is going to be this season. That's number one. And number two, it's very obvious. She is going as producer's puppet. Very, 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 very strong.
Okay, so right quick, hey P, hey. So Melissa is stunned to hear this, and she says, "You know what? I wasn't there, and I don't know how it was said," which is a very mature stance to take, because not everybody is going to tell the story, any story, the way that it happened. Because a lot of times people tend to tell a story where they're the
right. Because we're looking for allies. Excuse me, yeah, because we're looking for
allies, sympathy, all that good jazz. So then Teresa gets upset and says, "There's only one way to say it." No.
Well, actually, no. So right there, when you have Teresa's vindictiveness accumulated and cultivated with the fact that she's dense, of course a story is going to get told in another way.
And then we end this particular phone call scene with her saying, and I had to break it up because I gave her the blues last night on my live review. I'm gonna let y'all sit here and give the blues, but she gonna say, "I almost blacked out." Baby girl, when?
That's what I thought too. You were sitting right next to her. You were close enough to where you could kiss her, and you hopped up and you walked out.
Well, that's what who's the one that has all the plastic surgery? That's what she said. She was like, "How did she even get out of there?"
And I'm like, well, I guess you see the video now. She walked out. She sat there on the Jackie was on the couch. Teresa was the one who hopped up and left.
But you know, but see, here's the other thing. Even though I feel that Jackie could physically get her the blues, I think Teresa also knew, because she is a lawyer. I've already been to prison. So if I do anything to this woman, I'm going back to a place that I don't want to be. So she might be dense, but she dumb and dense, but she ain't stupid. I mean, I got to give her that much. But then she gonna say this piece right here. She said this weekend she's gonna get cut with my tongue. So what you're saying is you didn't have the vocabulary for her when y'all were sitting down initially, but now that you got some time to gather your thoughts, now you're gonna come up with all the different things that you're gonna say to hurt her.
Yeah, that really, you didn't have the words in that moment. All you had was "see you next Tuesday." How many ever times in a row, and a walkout. And a F you.
Right. And the fact that she wanted her to go so she could torture her for the weekend.
Mm-hmm. which it wasn't gonna happen. Like you haven't, like you haven't.
It sounds like the majority of the women are with
Jackie.
Jackie. Yeah.
Because they know how Teresa is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But not all of them are going to say that to Teresa's face because they don't want to be alienated by Teresa.
Well, so they tried to talk to her, but she went so far left. Because I would have done the same thing. It was like they was trying to talk to her, and she kept coming up with these excuses, and she kept going left. They was like, "Girl, just hand me the wine. I'm not."
So the next scene, I guess I'll let Lilbaby take this one over because again, I don't care that much about this scene, but we get Jennifer meet with her mother, so y'all can take this one.
I do enjoy Marge. I'm still in the minority. I love Marge's home. It looks like a Diane von Furstenberg boutique. You had that masculine, and then you have like that pretty feminine. When you walk into the house, I like Marge's house. It seems fun. I really like it.
Okay, well, I don't really know her like that. I just know now we get a little more information about their marriage. So it sounds like mom and dad kind of go at each other, and it was an arranged marriage. So I feel like they just doing the best they can with what they got. Like they probably at the point
they're both old and ornery.
Right, the kids are out the house. You know, a lot of times kids keep marriages together, and when the kids are gone, it's like the glue goes with them. And I feel like she's choosing her dad over her mom because she said her relationship with her mom has been so up and down. So I don't know if it's necessarily that your dad is so innocent and your mom is so horrible as much as it is that's who you're choosing.
I mean, I was wondering, like in that situation, I would want to be the fly on the wall to see what's actually going on. Do they naturally, are they really at each other's throats because one is just this horrible person, or is it because they sitting around each other all day watching this person eat oatmeal, and then they go over and then they looking at them and how they put their teeth in and walk stand, they turn back around and there they is sweeping the floor and they like, look at how they hold the broom. I can't stand that. Is it something like that? Because that's very
possible. I mean, what I said about it last night is, given the information, we don't know who's right or who's wrong, but typically in a patriarchal society, we always believe the men. So in this particular case, I'm going to believe the mother, but I also don't care because this is an issue between your parents. Let your parents deal with your parents' issues. And you stay out of it because now she's putting herself in a predicament, which is good for TV, but that's probably not going to end well for her.
And the other thing I thought about, and I've said this to people before, and when her mother said it, I thought about this. The mother said that you don't know what he says to me when you all are not around. And she was like, well, growing up, I never saw daddy, da-da-da-da-da. And I just remember thinking, growing up, I never saw my parents argue. That doesn't mean that they didn't argue. It just means that they made a concerted effort not to argue in front of us. I know my parents had arguments. I know that there were times when they were pissed off at each other. And so just because you didn't see your dad be aggressive towards your mother doesn't mean it didn't happen. And for that to be, well, I never saw daddy do da-da-da-da-da. Again, it doesn't mean your daddy didn't do it. And so I'm with you, y'all. You're inserting yourself. I think a lot of times we as children think that things are our business that aren't. And that's just not your business.
Pretty much. Because what'll be real messed up is if the tables turn and she and Aiden go through some things and her children pick the father's side. Because they would be like, well, you don't know what I went through. Well, it's one of those where it's just like, just stay out of it. And again, I think a lot of it is, this is going to be her storyline, not her immediate family, but her parents. So, and it's a good story to be had and to be shown. It's just, I don't like seeing people using other people for their storylines for consecutive seasons. I have a problem with that.
Right, because at a certain point, it's like, so what is your storyline going to be? Like, you need a storyline. I got it. I'm with it. I understand.
Side note, who was her mother making all those cookies for?
We don't know.
Is her mama a caterer or something? And then she told the little girl, you can have the broken ones. Because he said these are for company. I said, well, damn.
Okay, wait.
Like you in the hole by yourself.
Look,
Who all these cookies for?
Right.
As someone that could do a little something in the kitchen, because I ain't finna sit here and admit that I know how to do a whole lot, even though I do. But when you cooking, sometimes
you don't have to admit it, because me and Ebby will still be expecting a meal when we get to Chicago. That's
don't
all.
know what you're talking about. But anyway, but what
whatever.
I
know. I'll find you.
But when you are cooking, I mean, like I said, you'll sometimes do a whole lot of something, and you want to save the pretty ones for a company or whatever the event is. And whatever looks a little bit raggedy, that's what you stacking on. You don't want to sit here and mess up the beautiful creation. So I got it.
So her mom was about to have a party?
But all I'm saying is who is coming. Like, I get what you're saying, but I mean, who
coming? Where they going?
We in the middle of COVID. Who?
She had a Sam's Club platter size of cookies,
right,
ready to go.
That was like birthday party gift bag type shit she had on that counter. And it'd be different if she let them eat it. And she was like, I'm just so bored sitting at home, blah, blah, blah. She was like, you eat the broken ones, because these are for company. Who coming over?
Woo!
All right.
Okay, so
is the next scene the men going to the firing range?
Not yet. The next scene is Dolores and her mother. I ain't got much for that scene either, because I mean, it really wasn't a whole lot. Because look, all that we really got out of this scene, and she confirms it later, is though David may not necessarily be all of what she wants, he checks the blocks of what she needs and knows that he's a catch, and she's not going to sit here and let this catch go. But at the same time, it's also like, ma'am, you're probably in your 50s, which means that you got a few good years left. Why are you finna sit here and waste it on someone who you clearly see either A, doesn't want a commitment or wants it on his terms? But again, if she like it, I love it.
Yeah, they just seem like they need to go together real hard.
What's up, Teddy? Sorry you didn't get the notification. My bad. I mean, well, it ain't my bad. That's YouTube's bad. But
so the girls are packing, and they're all respectively talking about the Teresa versus Jackie. So now the girls are starting to come over to Marge's place. Melissa completely is not featuring Jennifer, and straight walk past her like she wasn't there.
She sure did walk right past her. I said, damn. You can't even say, that was just like with the Malaysia Jackie Christie thing. Like, damn, you can't even say hi. You can't even acknowledge she in the room.
And can I say, I no longer feel bad about the amount of luggage I carry on a 3 or 4 day vacation. Listen, I feel confident now. I thought I was the only one who needed all of that. I no longer feel alone.
Listen,
hey, Teddy.
They showed up with luggage like they was gonna be gone for 2 weeks. That's how they pack, child. That's how they pack, girl.
Okay, so then, you know what? I'm sorry, I said that out of context. What actually happened was Melissa telling Jackie that trying to use Teresa's kid to get her on the stand was a bad idea. So I reached ahead a little bit, my bad. But now we get to Frankie Sr. talking with Dolores about David. And Dolores had me confused because Frankie Sr. saying, you know what, I'm going to talk to David. She was like, yeah, and make sure, you give him a heads up about the surgeries. And it's like, I don't think the surgeries is the biggest point of contention for y'all relationship.
Yeah.
Or did I miss something? Y'all let me know.
No, the surgeries aren't.
No, that's her problem. That's her biggest bone of contention. That might not be what y'all's issue should be, but clearly that's what her issue is.
I think what it is sometimes, and it's just people in general, where we'll have an issue with someone, but we'll put all this energy into something that's so small where it'd be like, well, I'm mad because, he don't pick up the clothes. He just come in and throw his clothes on the floor. Like, you might be mad about that, but that's really not what you're mad about. You're putting
very true.
That's
There's
true.
something else that you're really mad about. You just don't want to talk about it.
That's
Very true.
Yeah, that's true. That's valid. That is valid. That is valid.
Okay, so now
Like,
we're at Marge's house.
from his, just to defend on the surgery thing, just to defend him a little bit, I understand from his medical perspective, he is a doctor and his job is to give the best medical advice as possible. No doctor is going to tell you to go into elective surgery.
Especially in the middle of a pandemic when things just aren't the same. Things
right.
the same level. Like it's not a priority anyway, but it's damn sure ain't a priority in the middle of a pandemic.
Right. No doctor is gonna like encourage that.
And not just that, but also doing an elective surgery like this, any surgery that most surgery that you do is going to weaken your immune system because your body is fighting to recover. So since your body is fighting to recover, if you happen to get in contact with the vid, you in for the ride of your life.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay, so Marge's house. So the girl's getting ready to come over. Jackie tells her she's not coming, and Marge feels that this would be a good time for all the girls to tell Teresa that she's wrong. And I'm like, I don't understand why it takes all of y'all to sit here and convey such a very simple concept.
She understands it. She chooses to be indignant.
Yeah, she has to know that she's wrong.
And her own daughter told her.
That's
I don't know how plain you can get.
Her own daughter told you were wrong. The one that you so mad about because the rumor was about her, she understood and told you to apologize.
Yep. So in this scene, we get Marge trying to tell Teresa where she wrong. Teresa ain't trying to hear it. They all get on the bus, and now we're rehashing what we just talked about inside of Marge's house on the bus. And then Teresa's saying, women that I know will want to know about their men, but you didn't want to know about yours. Like, again,
you did not tell her.
Right.
Everybody else.
First of all, you did not tell her, ma'am. You didn't tell her.
And then
you did not come to her on some sad girl. Listen, I hear your man out here doing something foul. You did not do that. You went to everybody at that party, passing that rumor out like party favors.
Okay.
So Melissa says to her in a roundabout way, if you don't have receipts, we shouldn't even be talking about it. And then Teresa says, who gives a fuck? She could stand up for her man. Well, that's what she was doing, is trying to get you to sit here and kill this rumor with the cameras rolling. So, and I'm trying. So it's like, so what? Did you want her to get up and just start fighting you? And is that your way of? I can't sit here and try to understand stupid. I really can't. Dumb.
I was gonna say, at the end of the day, Teresa know that this is a stupid conversation. She know that she was drunk, and then when your argument becomes, you shouldn't have gave me no tequila. You have to know.
Listen.
When your argument becomes, well, you just shouldn't have gave me no damn liquor. You have to know that there's no argument. I'm just saying.
Okay, so
not camp.
That's the women she met at camp.
well, that's what she called prison.
Right.
She called it camp.
Camp.
Listen, I got a friend that went to prison. She went to the same prison that what's the woman name? Martha Stewart was at, and that's what she calls it. Okay,
so now we're at the part that really we want to talk about. So we got David and Frank at the range. Now, Frank Sr. tells us that he got into an accident. He was injured at work. He fell down a flight of stairs. It hurt his quads, this, that, and the third. And he said something, and I just found this to be weird. And I want y'all to follow me here. So Frank and not Teresa and Dolores helped to build David's house. Now you have Frankie Jr. staying with the boyfriend. You got Frankie Sr. staying with the boyfriend because he has a bathroom on the first floor, easily accessible. But Dolores staying in her own house by herself. So why is both of your Frankies staying with your boyfriend, but you not staying? Oh,
we said it was a throuple. Let them have it.
So let me ask y'all a question. Based on me being a new viewer to this show, I like their little manship they got going on. Should I not like it?
I like it too. I really do. I think it's.
I ain't got a problem with it. Like they're legit friends.
Yeah.
I didn't know if there was a history there that I shouldn't. You know what I'm saying? I'm new.
Patty Duke, I think Teresa does. Maybe if Jackie wasn't attached to him, she would go for him. Or maybe if she wasn't on this show, she would go for him. Because I'm trying to understand how you finding a man attractive has to do with his fidelity to his wife.
Well, she clearly said that Evan is her type. She just ain't trying to go after him.
Yeah, it sounded like she was, you know. Mm-hmm.
So do y'all want to, I guess, talk more about David and Frank's conversation in reference to how David and Teresa, I'm sorry, damn it, Dolores interact with each other? No?
I mean, like I said, I like their relationship. I thought that was real cool that he took care of his friend. They seemed like they're genuine. Like it didn't seem like it was no bull hockey. Like it seemed like it was some genuine stuff with them. And I liked it. I just didn't know if there was a history there or something was gonna bite me in the butt. I didn't want to get caught up. And then y'all be like, he ain't shit. You know what I mean? That's why I was like, hold on, let me make sure. But no, I do. I like him. And I like the fact that he could talk to him about the relationship, but not in a I don't feel like he overstepped.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't feel like he was being too much in it.
He came from a place of he didn't want to see two people hurt.
Right.
But you can also tell there's a genuine friendship there. And for those who are listening, what Frank said today, and I'll say it in a second, is what real friends do. A real friend should be able to call you out on your BS without there being, all these feelings. Because what he said to him is, you're great at your craft. You're a mediocre boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And he had to sit in it. He was like, well,
yeah. And he received it. And I can appreciate the fact that he received it. Yeah. All right. But other than that, I just, like I said, I thought that was real cool that they gave us that much of the backstory about what happened and him being hurt and all of that good stuff. And it looked like they were all there together. Like, looked like they was all one big happy family.
So anyway, before we go down a rabbit hole, so now we're at the Lakeshore house. And Teresa cannot stop talking about Jackie. And it's at this point that
even with all that nice, beautiful food there.
Right.
Those sandwiches look delicious. The wine looked tasty. The salad, oh my God. They had a spread. It was beautiful.
But yeah,
that's what you want.
I agree. The women had stopped talking about Jackie. Teresa kept, it was like, you could tell that Teresa was genuinely mad that the woman didn't come, so she couldn't be an asshole to her the whole week. Like, you could tell it really bothered her that the woman didn't come.
Yep. But it also let me know that Jackie really has rented over half of the space in your mind.
Absolutely.
Because, and it's for free. She up there rent free, over half of her brain is occupied with Jackie. I'm like, golly.
Yeah, because she clearly was very vested in Jackie. And Jackie was, and it bothered Jackie to not be there, but I don't think it bothered Jackie the same way it bothered Teresa.
Now I'm going to sit here and break down what Really B had mentioned earlier. So I'm going to need everybody to follow me here. Okay. So Marge Marge says, okay, Jackie is embarrassed. Teresa says, well, she talked about my situation. So then Marge said there were pictures and she commented on pictures. That's all that she did. So then Teresa said, well, Marge, you did it to Jackie. Marge then said, I said it from a place of hurt because I wanted to hurt her. And within 5 minutes, I went to her and said that what I said about your husband was not true. I was trying to hurt you. So then Teresa says next time her friend, so whoever Jackie's friend had told her, will keep her mouth shut. So we're deflecting yet again. And then she says to Jennifer, next time, don't feed me tequila. And then says to Marge, you know me, you should have made it better. No accountability, all deflection.
None. Like I said, when her final argument was, well, then you shouldn't have gave me no tequila. I knew then. I said, girl, you know you're wrong and you don't have no defense for this bullshit.
Like, just say you wanted you're being vindictive for her commenting on your relationship from last season. Just say that shit.
Pretty much.
Be a strong woman and do that.
But it seemed like she can't own it. Just like your girl, not Melissa, the other M one. What's the one with the
Marge?
Marge
couldn't. But no. Marge isn't the one with the crazy mama and daddy.
Jennifer.
Just like Jennifer couldn't own the fact that she came from Melissa at the reunion. Because the whole table was like, girl, no, you came for her. You came hot. You came in hot. So it's like, I need y'all. Like, if you go, the one thing I will say, as much as I am not a Kenya Moore fan, the one thing I will say is Kenya Moore will stand in her shit.
Mm-hmm.
You might not like it. You might not agree with it, but she stands in her shit.
Yep.
I give her that. I will give her now that I will give Kenya Moore. She will stand in her shit.
So now we get Jackie in a long scene. And before I talk about the scene, I do want to say, even if Jackie didn't appear in this episode, she should have been paid for a full episode. How many times her name got brought up? But she's in a scene with her children, cutting her boy's hair. I'm not a barber. I'm not one to talk about cutting hair. All I'm gonna say is praise God for quarantine and they weren't going to school. But I said
they just be humoring her when she asked the one boy how you want it, he was like, I don't care. Like, it don't matter what I tell you, you just gonna give me the same cut. So just whatever you want to do, mama. Whatever you want to do with them clippers.
But Jackie tells us in this moment that, there's tension between her and Evan. She's doing what she can so the kids don't feel it. Now, she ain't going into detail. I just hope that Evan ain't putting his hands on her. I don't know why I felt that in my spirit. I just hope he ain't doing it.
Say, where'd that come from?
It's how she was talking about it.
Okay.
But at the same time, it's like, you have no real reason to be upset with your wife other than her being on this show. Your wife didn't do this. But then she talks to her daughter, and I appreciate that conversation of her telling her daughter, like, look, you don't have to be around people that treat you badly. You can get out at any time. I have my bags packed, and I still chose not to go. You don't have to be in these type of situations because her daughter is at an age where she might start to encounter people bullying her. And I appreciate that was a genuine conversation.
You know what? I'm gonna agree with you, because in the beginning, when she first started talking, I was like, she doing too much. She bringing them in grown folks' business. Because when they were like, well, what's wrong with, or where's daddy, whatever, I was like, But the more she talked, I said, you know what? This is a good conversation. And everything she's saying needs to be said. Because at first I was like, see, here we go. Yeah. Have a grown folk conversation with Sharon. But then when she sort of brought it back around to you don't have to allow anyone to mistreat you. And you see how mommy was ready to roll. And mommy was like, what I will not do is allow myself to be mistreated by anyone. Yes, I wanted to be with my friends. But I will not allow myself to be mistreated. And she didn't tell her daughter too much. So I could have, like I said, at the beginning of that conversation, I was giving it a side eye, but by the end, I was like, okay, I'm here for it.
But what's also great about the conversation, though, is there's going to come a point where children are going to watch the show that their parents were on.
That's true.
They'll be able to watch it back and see, like, okay, I see how my parent is handling these type of situations, and there's nothing to be ashamed of, rather than you have other people like Teresa where, again, you're flipping tables, you're pushing producers and doing all these other things. And yeah, your children are going to have to watch this back and watch that playback. So I appreciate the conversation, most definitely. Lilbaby, you got anything?
Nope.
All right.
I'm just looking at the food and the rooms and
all right,
and over the drinks.
Okay, so we're back at the lake house for a moment. We get Lexi, who is Marge's friend, Marge and Melissa, and they're collectively upset because Jackie isn't there. And Melissa acknowledges that if those two, Jackie and Teresa, if they can't find a common ground, it's pretty much going to hurt the group. And this put me back in the mind of Basketball Wives and all the other Real Housewives franchises that deal with a queen bee of the show, where you have to rally behind that person and, kiss that person's fourth point of contact. Which sucks, because it's like, I don't want to see Jackie go out like this because she's literally been pushed all the way to the side. Because we have to really think about it. If they do decide to pick sides, which I feel is going to happen, I think Jackie's going to have more people on her side than Teresa.
That would seem like.
Because the only person Teresa really going to have is Dolores. If we're going to be honest.
That would be a risky move for production, though. Because, she's like, as much as some people do not like Teresa's behavior, Teresa has a very strong fan base.
Mm-hmm. But the one thing Bravo has shown us in this last year is that they're okay with that. They're willing to take that risk. They've done it on 3 of their franchises now. They're willing to take that risk. Very true.
So we get to the end of the episode and the women all went out for dinner. And I'm pretty sure production probably told Jackie, because I think Jackie was going to send them a text message regardless, but I think production told her, okay, send it right now. I'm just saying it's speculation. But she sent all the girls, minus Teresa, a text message saying, I'm sorry I can't be there. I hope y'all enjoy. Have a drink for me. And Teresa mentions that she spoke with Gia. And long story short, Gia, who all of the time, I feel bad for her in the sense that her mother, in essence, pimped her out this whole entire franchise and has forced her to grow up faster than what she probably needed to, and has exposed her to grown or adult situations and topics that she never needed to be in. But she told her what was right. Like 9 times out of 10, you were probably wrong, and you owe this woman an apology. And of course, G is the only one that could reach her, which I don't understand why. But you can see she's not going to do it because, again, if she just apologized and let this fall by the wayside, guess what? Teresa doesn't have a storyline.
Hey, P.
Yeah. That's how, I feel that way too, because, and you could tell that she felt really stupid. Like when the rest of the ladies, because again, they weren't talking about Jackie. She brought Jackie up again. Those women were on something else. They really were. And I'm sure, we still producing a show here. But all I'm saying is, like you said, clearly Jackie lives in her mind. Like clearly Jackie lives right there in her head.
No, not right there. She got this whole front portion all right now.
Right, the frontal lobe, the whole frontal lobe.
And I know a lot of people have said that Jackie is jealous of Teresa, and I won't deny that there may be some jealousy there. Personally, I don't see it, but again, I don't deny it. But it's also very obvious that Teresa does kind of possibly have some jealousy of Jackie. They possibly are 2 peas in the same pod, 2 sides of the same coin.
Oh, okay. 2 sides of the same coin.
Okay, so then we get Melissa telling Jen that her nipples are somewhat visible through the shirt top that she has on. Jen begins to, be real playful with it. In this moment, I would assume they've had drinks, and I believe it was Mars that says she's happy that they're getting along. And then Melissa decides to ask her, what does she say? Am I being too self-absorbed? And Jen said there's not a problem with that. Now, with the reunion and what happened between those two, if we're gonna keep it all the way 1,000, all that, and I don't feature Jennifer, let's be clear, but all she was really doing was calling out the fact that, girl, you had a fake ass storyline this season. That's really what that was. So if you're mad at the fact that she called you out for having a fake ass storyline and you decided to drag this from the reunion, and we now on the 2nd episode with this, like, if that's gonna be your storyline, well, it ain't gonna be your storyline no more, because your sister-in-law about to ragtag. But it's just like, okay, come on now. Now here's the, if you're not featuring her and you just don't want it. Now, has she said, you know what, I'm not effing with you because consistently you have thrown sharp objects at me. You broke a glass trying to insinuate that you was finna sit here and stab me with it. Has she said that, and this is why I'm not featuring you? I wouldn't have a problem. But you mad because she called you on a reunion for your fake ass storyline? Melissa, come on now. Come on.
Well, I don't know. So,
It was a fake storyline. I mean, you're not having any more children, Melissa. That's not happening. You're done.
Oh, that's what the story was.
Pregnancy.
She was acting like she was gonna have some more children.
That and her and Joe went to the doctor. She had her eggs examined. He went and gave a sperm sample. Like that was pretty much. And the season before was her doing a fashion show for her boutique. The season before that was her opening up her boutique.
Mm-hmm.
So and again, here's the thing. I get it. This is Real Housewives money, and it's real easy money to make. So some of them don't want to go all for a season because they don't have no drama because they might not be called back.
Right.
I get it. So I wasn't upset with that storyline because I'm like, okay, it's fake, but it's dealing with you and your spouse rather than Jennifer, where you made your storyline about, your brother being gay and your mother not accepting it. Like, okay, all right. Like, let's talk about you being a raging alcoholic that don't know how to control her liquor. Like, that's what I want to talk about. But we'll get there. So the scene pretty much ends with Jen saying what she did was rude. She apologizes. Teresa brings back up Jackie and says she didn't do anything wrong and tell her to stop crying. Again, you want to talk, and then men at an adjacent table sends them drinks, and that was the.
I thought that was cool that they sent them drinks. I thought that was cool. I said they probably know exactly who them women was over there filming. they want their little 2 minutes of fame. They want a little tension. Yeah. They wanted a little tension.
So I'll let y'all kind of wrap this up. I need to go off screen just for a moment, but I'll still be here.
Shots of tequila?
Say what?
Were those shots of tequila that I sent over?
I don't know what they sent them. It looked like it might have been tequila because that's what they had been drinking. So it looked like it might have been some tequila. I'm not sure. That's a good question, little baby. I don't know the answer to it. But
I was looking at the food.
You know what? I feel like I'm sensing a trend here with you and these food spreads. I'm sensing a trend. I mean, so ultimately, I definitely, because again, I'm new to the franchise. I definitely see where they're setting this up. And because I'm used to these franchises, I know what they get ready to do. They're gonna drag this shit out for at least the next 3 or 4 episodes. I mean, maybe longer, but at least the next 3 or 4 episodes, we're gonna drag out this because they're gonna be down at the lake house for at least the next 2 episodes. You know what I mean? Well, they're gonna drag this out for about 2. And I would not be surprised if Jackie ends up coming.
I think that's what's going to happen. She may show up like the day before they leave or something.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if she comes down. They're going to talk her into coming down. They're going to talk Teresa into having a sit down with her. And they're going to talk her into coming down, telling her, well, Teresa wants to apologize. And we really want her to come down. And they're going to do this whole big thing about her coming down there. And that's going to probably be the whole climax of the trip to the lake.
Yes, ma'am, DC. I hope it's a nice spread all the way through.
But I'm looking
forward to breakfast.
But I appreciate, what they're giving us. Like, I appreciate it that, they still, like, even though this episode wasn't what the last episode was, I mean, they still giving us some good stuff. It's still moving on. I mean, at this point, I really want to know from Teresa, what has you so bothered when it comes to Jackie? Because you can't tell me that you're not bothered. Because and I know they're shooting the show, and I know
she want her husband.
Well, I mean, she's not going to get Evan with the antics that she just displayed, so not going to happen. But here's the other thing, though. But you're mad because both Jackie and Evan has made legit money, and that your husband wasn't making legit money. You said some stuff unknowingly. He got put in prison. So did you. You went first. He went second. But while you were trying to make some legit money, you done came out with some BS ass cookbooks, Bellini line that didn't do nothing. And once they found out that you were about to be a convicted felon, how all of your previous endeavors tanked. Jackie ain't got that problem.
Well,
I want to say that.
Well, damn. All right. Any final words, little baby, on this week's episode of The Real Housewives of the New Jersey?
I'm just happy that those women had food in their fridge and they weren't eating lunch meat.
You don't stop talking about the food.
Well, wait. But no, what Lilbaby is saying is not that they just had food. they had someone come and stock it. So when they got there, they were able to eat some food that was already prepared for them. And because it is a fully stocked fridge, and I hate to do Kenya like this, but not just with cold cuts, they was going to be able to eat good. That's what you're talking about. I feel what you're talking about, little baby. I'm here for you.
The sandwiches were ready.
You mean they wasn't waiting for a pig to cook all day?
Right.
All right, now let's get on these Salt Lake City women.
To quote the infamous L. Teddy, dear God, oh God. Okay, let's go. I just wanted to quote L. Teddy right quick.
Before we start, Jen Shah is a disgusting piece of shit of a human being.
Well, let's just go ahead and jump in the middle.
So are we just gonna jump straight to her, or are we gonna talk about?
Well, no, you can say that bastard for land.
Look at El Teddy.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure you took notes, really be. So this is your channel, your show. Go ahead.
Well, first of all, let's talk about how Robert Sr. was not here for it.
Oh, he was.
He was not.
He was not.
Mary tried to cover for him, talking about, no, you were cool with being on the show. No, he wasn't, man. Reports that already came out. He didn't want this show. He didn't want to do this.
Look, he was
on all of this.
He was on his Chris Samuels. Came straight on like, I ain't here for the book. Nope. Nope. Oh, I was here for.
He came for Jen Shaw. I felt bad for Coach Shaw because I feel like he was apologizing for her the whole time he was on stage. All he did was apologize for his wife.
And that's when I stopped feeling sorry for him, because I'm like, how many excuses you gonna make for this woman? Number one. Number two, are you gonna get up here next year and apologize? And are you gonna do it the following year? Is that gonna be your stance on this show? Apologize for Jen and her.
I didn't say it on my review, but I think the reason that he was apologizing for her is because he is an active coach and he has an active career. So I feel this was more or less him trying to block the BS so it doesn't affect his bottom line, because I believe that he finna pull a Kelsey Grammer and have his wife on here to get her a little bit of coin and probably leave her next season. Now, Kelsey left, what's her name? I can't remember her name right now. But Camille. He left Camille in that first season.
He said that was a gift for her. He said in his mind he was setting her up, and that was his gift to her.
Right. He was like, she always wanted fame. I gave her fame and I left.
Yep. I'm gonna say this. I agree with you to a certain extent, y'all. I think that in the off season, somewhere between now and the beginning of season 2, not filming, but because I think they might already have started filming.
Yeah, they've started filming. They've started.
Yeah. I think that we're going to hear, and I know Lilbaby been making this comment all season. I don't necessarily think he got a whole nother family, but I definitely think it's some mistresses that's going to tumble out the closet.
Cartwheel, backflip.
I absolutely feel like somebody, because, right now, they probably been on good behavior. But I feel like between now and the premiere of season 2, we're going to hear some rumblings about their marriage. I just believe that when I found out that he hadn't been home since the birthday party, is it me, or did it sound like this isn't something that is unusual in their marriage? Because please believe, if my husband don't come home after a fight and he been gone for 3 or 4 days, ma'am, we got a problem. And she was way too calm when he walked his ass back up in that house.
Yeah.
It makes me feel like that's something that's a regular situation at the house.
Left, didn't call, didn't answer no phone, no text message, nothing.
Yeah, I that was too easy for me.
Too easy for me also.
I also have a problem with, let's talk about, so I'll be talking about the husbands. Let's talk about Meredith for a second. I'm surprised that Meredith is coming back for a couple of reasons. One, she didn't give us shit this season.
Facts.
She didn't give us anything this season. And she's giving us even less now because she's upset about the fact that the women were in her marriage. So my thing is, I'm just surprised that she's coming back. Not that she wants to come back, but I'm surprised that they extended her a contract to come back, because generally those people are the people that don't come back.
Mm-hmm.
And at the reunion, she was giving us nothing. Even when Andy was like, well, how's the marriage? And she was like, fine. And Andy was like, your husband looked like it's more to the story. And she was like, well, why would I share my business about my marriage with these people? Because you want a reality show.
Mm-hmm.
So I just found that to be interesting.
Now,
and I'm really, really surprised that she's coming back.
No, never mind. What I was going to say is I think it's because she felt like compared to what all spilled out with her relationship, we didn't get that with the other ladies. So I think that's why she was just like, no, because again, a majority of this season was Meredith's issues with Seth. And we got a little bit with Jen, which I'm still upset with Jen that fuck it, I'm talking about Jen. How you gonna sit here and try to perpetuate that this man did not support you at all when your father died? But then we find out that he was at the wake. He was there for you.
Right. And it sounds like she threw a damn tantrum talking about had you been at the hospital, maybe he wouldn't have died. Girl, if you don't go sit down somewhere.
Exactly. Like, ma'am, when she made it seem like he wasn't there at all. Like he was just away on football. And we, America, we were like, damn, somebody get a day or two, something off of bereavement. You act like this man didn't do nothing.
Right. He was at the wake. And then he left the wake for maybe he had to get to a game. But it sounds like he was also, when your father was sick, he was at the hospital, when he could be.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It sounds like they had a really good relationship. So I just felt like that was unfair to him to make it seem like he just abandoned you and he wasn't
very
there.
Unfair. Very unfair.
Yeah.
Very unfair. Yeah. Like she basically painted him as a shit husband. Yeah, he's providing, but really he ain't there.
But remember how many lies we caught Jen in this reunion. Baby. She lied about being at the hospital. She was never at the hospital that day, yet you've been mad at Mary this whole season about this whole hospital situation. We know you lied about what you said and didn't say about Meredith's marriage. I mean, they got that all the way on videotape. She lied about something else in the first reunion. Remember, because I was like, we done caught her in all these lies. And then last night, she act like she didn't understand why everybody got mad at her in Vegas.
Now, because I guess we just gonna say fuck everybody talking about Jen. See where Jen had me fucked up in a lot of scenes. I can't believe that when she decided to apologize to Meredith, saying, I should have never engaged in any conversation. No.
You should have never initiated.
Exactly. Whitney and Heather can say they shouldn't have engaged. You brought this up. You created this little kindling of a fire and started pouring gasoline on it. That's what you did.
And I feel like Heather should have gotten off pretty much scot-free, because in both of those scenes, in the first scene when Jen came to Heather was like, well, why are you telling me this?
Pretty much.
So now that you mad at her, you telling all her business. If you've known this for weeks and you didn't say anything, she checked Jen in that moment. And then when Whitney tried to come to her when they was on top of the ski slope and tried to gossip about it, Heather was like, that's their personal business. That is their marriage. I ain't in it. So I feel like Heather shouldn't have got none of the smoke. Unless there's some unseen footage that we ain't see. I don't feel like Heather should have got, because I feel like Heather did her best to not engage in that whole situation. That's how I feel about it.
I didn't hear Heather talk about Meredith's marriage or anything in between. Exactly. That was all Jen. Exactly. Even on Twitter, it was Jen. Jen had a very reckless mouth on Twitter. I've seen some of those tweets.
And that's what Heather was saying. Heather was like, but you came for me on Twitter.
Oh,
and
wait.
She didn't know nothing about it, didn't remember nothing that happened.
Oh, no, I want to find what she said. Hold on, wait. Where was that?
Oh,
okay. Here it is. So what she said is she buys off the rack at Dress Barn. So people said that's like a TJ Maxx, that's like a Ross. Yeah, so I was like, ooh, and she said,
girl, I used to buy from Dress Barn.
And then she said she thinks she's an actress, but the only role she will get is those of a manatee or Shrek. I was like, ooh.
Right. When she said, and look, did you see her face? And then she tried to wave it off like, well, whatever. See, that's your problem, Jen. You don't never want to stand in your shit. And when Meredith asked her point blank and said, if I had treated you The way you treated me, would you think that I was loyal? And she had to be honest. I think that was the most honest thing she said when she said no.
But wait. But here's the other thing. But when she said no, she said, "But I'm not the." It was like no. See, you ain't need it because she's like, "I'm not the only one at fault." We didn't need all
That's not the point. I'm
yes
asking
no
about
question.
you. I'm asking about you and your actions.
Exactly. And see, that's the problem. That's the problem that Jen had when they was down to the psychic or whatever the lady, when they was clearing their chakras, whatever the lady name was. And she was telling her yes or no. She was like, we're not getting into them long drawn out explanations. Yes or no. Did you do this? Did you do that? Did you? Because see, you start explaining and you want to justify what you did. No.
I had to find this, so y'all might not be able to see it. For those who looking at your phone, zoom in. So somebody, I guess the name is Ariel is watching, posted if Heather's playing Shrek, Jen Shaw is playing the waitress. Now, this right here is Jen. Okay.
Yeah.
This right here is Twitter is undefeated. Twitter is
undefeated. No lie.
The internet is
no lies.
I had to find it.
The internet is always undefeated. Baby. Now, I will say this. There was one moment last night where I had to do something that y'all know I hate doing.
Uh-oh.
Defending Mary?
No, Lord. I ain't feeling with Mary crazy.
Listen, Mary last night had me cracking up. I liked her little falling asleep.
Listen, Mary, but she jumped right on it, though. But Mary was right on it.
Yep.
I was here for Mary.
Hey, Geechee girl.
Hey.
She jumped right on it. Listen.
Hey, Geechee girl.
I had to defend Lisa.
Heather. And
Heather, I love you down, boo. But you really put 20 on 10. Because
baby, she put 50 on 10.
Here's the thing. I understood where Lisa was coming from because Lisa felt like I'm still a practicing Mormon and I love my religion. And I feel like I need to defend my religion because in that moment, you had Heather, you had Whitney and her husband, and they were all speaking out about how horrible the church had treated them. And I feel like all Lisa was trying to say was, if you're going to tell the story, tell the whole story. The church did not excommunicate you because y'all got a divorce. The church excommunicated y'all because y'all cheated on y'all spouses and then got together and got divorced. So if you're going to tell the whole story. And I felt like she felt like I got to defend my church. And I understood.
And also, I was in a live earlier and someone who is LDS, they were also defending it to an extent. It's not that necessarily that if something like that were to happen, then you're automatically excommunicated. It depends on the bishop who you're under. Sometimes you get a dick of a bishop and they'll excommunicate, they'll send you that letter.
Right. And that's kind of what Heather was saying, something with their divorce, that it has to be unsealed by the right person in the right time in the right place. Like it clearly is I got you, y'all. Hold on, let me finish this last sentence. Mm-hmm. It clearly is a complicated religion as far as the tenets are concerned. Mm-hmm. But I just felt like in that moment, Lisa wasn't wrong for feeling like she had to defend because I felt her. I felt her in that moment. Now go ahead. Yeah, what was saying?
No, the only thing I'm going to say is Heather wants something from Lisa that Lisa ain't finna give her. No, yeah, and I just need for Heather to just take this for what it is and let's just move on to the next thing. Because I even understood when she was talking about the whole divorce thing where it's just like, you fan it off a little bit and you have sympathy for her. Why can't you tap into that same sympathy for me and my situation? But here's the thing. What you want from her, she ain't ready to give it to you or she can't give it to you.
And why do you want it from her? Why do you need sympathy for her about your marriage? I'm sorry. Like, I love Heather. Like I said, y'all know that I was with Heather the majority of the season. Mm-hmm. But in that moment, I was like, I'm not understanding why you needed that from Lisa.
Pretty much.
I didn't understand it either.
You know,
like, girl, you need to let it go.
Right. And I felt, like I said, in that moment, I wasn't mad at Lisa for defending her religion. That is her faith. And just because you were jaded by it or it didn't work for you, because let's be clear, every religion ain't for everybody. So just because it didn't work for you and you're jaded in it, I get it. But first of all, if you're going to tell the story, tell the whole story. You and your husband was cheating on y'all spouses. It sounded like it was pretty damn public.
Wait, no. That's Heather. I'm not. That's Whitney.
I'm sorry. I meant Heather. No. That's Whitney. That's Whitney.
Right.
No. What I'm saying is, when Lisa felt like she had to, when she was making the comment about divorces, she was just making it clear. No. You don't get put out the church for getting a divorce. That ain't it. It's more to that story. And again, I feel like Lisa was being tactful by not telling the whole story, but by saying, listen, he was divorced. My parents were divorced. This and this and this. It ain't the divorce. It was the scandal surrounded by the boy.
And with Heather, I think what Heather's big hold up is with her whole entire situation. I don't know if everybody understand it. Is again, it all goes back to us being in a patriarchal society where a woman, and this is true for a lot of different faiths and religions, where if you get divorced, you're looked at as damaged goods.
Yeah.
But the man is not looked at like that. So you can go and marry again and be okay. But for you, you're looked at as damaged goods. And in her particular faith, and these are a paraphrase of her words, because you couldn't keep your man, obviously something must be wrong with you that you couldn't hold on to him. So I think that's also part of her hiccup. I just don't know if she has properly verbalized that to everyone, where that is where her hurt is coming from, to where she's being judged because this union just didn't work. But what I will also say is, and again, I'm one of those where you got to be weary about what you say and what you do. And again, whether you want to say karma or if you want to go with the religious route, it's going to make its way back around. And Lisa, sweetheart, you better tread lightly, because while you sitting here thinking that, you embody perfection, your husband looking like he ain't got too much time dealing with you and your shenanigans and not making time for him and the children. That's all I'm saying.
All right, now we're gonna get this. I get this the last topic, and then we're gonna get ready to get out of here. Before we get ready to get out of here, let me make this announcement to everybody. El Teddy's gonna go live when I'm done here, so we can just jump on over to El Teddy's live. Or we're gonna get ready to give Jen a little something right now. But let's go on. We're gonna go over it. I just want, because y'all know I'll get to talking and I'll forget to say it. So we're gonna hop right on over. When we get done here, we're gonna hop on over to El Teddy's live for a little bit. Let me say this. Jen, come down to the front.
Back on my fucking TV.
Come down to the front, Jen.
I don't want her back on my TV.
Bitch.
Wait, hold on. Okay, hold on. Wait. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Do I need to take y'all off? Is that
you probably should. You about to go in. Go ahead. Just take your screen.
Bitch. This what you're not gonna do. You've been doing it off and on all season, and you're very careful with your language, and you're very careful with your wording, because you're very clear and you're very careful to say women of color, people of color, women of color, people of color. I'm a woman of color.
People.
Listen, right? She even said colored people at one time. Bitch, listen. Let me explain something to you, woman. Here's my issue. Listen. You can't take everything and make it into a racial thing just because you don't like that thing. You mad at them calling you an aggressive woman, talking about that's a trigger word. First of all, you stole that shit from Wendy down to the Real Housewives of Potomac, and it didn't work for Wendy, and it ain't gonna work for you. And like Heather said, but you are being aggressive in this very moment. Here's the reality. When you call a thing, it's okay. If you're being aggressive, you're aggressive. It is not a tag word or a buzzword if that is what you are doing. Bitch, you've been throwing glasses and throwing tantrums the whole damn season. You don't get to invoke the color card now because the women are coming for you and you don't know what else to do to get out of it, okay? That is what you don't get to do. Yes, you are a woman of, I'm putting it in air quotes, color. But let's be clear, being from, the Pacific Islands and being married to a black man and having, black children, it does not give you a hall pass. You are an aggressive woman that throws tantrums when you don't get your damn way. Period. Point blank. That's the end of the story. They were not coming for you. It was not a Black Lives Matter moment. It was not a teachable moment. It didn't have shit to do with race or race relations. This was not that. And I'm pissed off. It pisses me off when we turn everything into a fucking racial issue. It's not. You're an aggressive woman. You were being aggressive. They called you aggressive. It is a word. It describes things. It's a fucking adjective. It is what it is. Anybody else have anything to say?
I have something to say.
Go ahead.
Because now I don't know this to be true. I was trying to search for this video. I only saw a comment. But because of Jen's nature, I don't doubt that this happened. A comment under a post on Twitter said she did a video where she said the women are trying to silence her and she feels like they have their knee on her neck. Again, I don't have proof she said that, but I don't doubt she did, because she has been doing that all season long. She has been attaching herself to issues that Black people have been fighting to rectify as a way to absolve her from all her fuck shit. She came in here spreading shit all over the room, and now when she has to sit in it and smell the funk with the rest of us, she can't take it. She ready to run out. I don't like that. Ma'am, you threaten to bury someone in a backyard. That's aggressive. Ma'am, you went out and you talked disparagingly about this woman's marriage, and for no reason, no less. Meredith did nothing to you.
She really didn't bother you. She really didn't do nothing to you. But here's what was funny. Hold on. Here's what was funny. You had the nerve to say that was one of the. You can't call a Black person a murderer. Bitch, you threatened to murder her. Go ahead.
So Lilbaby brought up the live that she did. So my question for you really is, do you want me to play the actual footage, or do you want me to just read what it was that somebody annotated that she said? Because I don't know how you want me to do this.
You found a live of her saying it? I want to hear her say it. Go ahead. Just let it play. Don't show it on the screen.
Okay.
You have something you didn't do. They just pulled it out of their ass and made it up. And then all these other white girls come in, and because this white girl says she threatened my life, she's a bully, I'm so fearful of her, without having any facts, they all support her. Yeah. What kind of shit is that? That is the same shit. That is having your fucking knee on my goddamn neck, and then you sit there and tell me, don't talk, you can't say shit. When I called my husband, I was in tears. Like, I could barely breathe because I couldn't believe that I was being treated like that in 2020 when I'm a good person and I didn't do shit. And I just thought, I didn't think that people were that evil and that mean that would do something like that.
There you go.
Holding you accountable is silencing you.
Sorry.
I don't want her back on my screen. No more. No more. No more. And because we did not have the right person on that couch, on that reunion, hosting the reunion, or in any of the other seats, nobody
was co-signing it. Mary was co-signing it. And I was like, really, Mary? Exactly. Of all the times that I need you to disagree with Jen, that was now. I need you to check Jen.
I don't want her back on this show. And I'm debating watching second season because she's going to be on this show pulling that stunt.
Now, before I say my commentary on it, what I want to start at the end, where I'm only going to give Andy one clap for allowing this conversation to happen, because normally he's not going to let this conversation happen. And I think because of the backlash from Potomac and also some of the things happening on his other shows where people had to be let go because of things, I think he allowed it to happen. What I didn't like is how when she came back, we just put a bow on top of it and then we ended out the reunion.
Right.
Like, I was open up this can of worms.
Right. I said the same thing. I was like, wait a minute, they about to end?
I I saw her do two things. I saw her play the race card and then use tears as a weapon at the same time. I saw both of that. And
Now,
let's be clear. I don't hear Asians being labeled aggressive. I don't. And when it comes to Latinos, maybe the men are labeled aggressive. But as for the women, aggressive is really described as a charming attribute.
They're spicy.
Right. The spicy Latina. The fetish side spicy Latina. So that whole colored woman trope, trying to attach herself to a black woman and simultaneously ostracizing the only black woman on the show.
And I would feel the same way if Jen was black. I would feel the same way because I still feel like you are an aggressive woman. And I'm sorry.
Exactly.
If you're aggressive, you're aggressive. Again, I said the same thing with Potomac when Wendy tried to use that bullshit. If you're aggressive, you're aggressive. If the shoe fits, wear it, bitch.
Like Jen, you went and you got in Whitney's face, threatening and yelling at her. You, who was it? Heather extended a helping hand, trying to understand you. You hit her. You have been the only one to physically touch someone on this show in an aggressive manner.
So I'm gonna say this: if y'all want to hear my full commentary, y'all can go watch the live that I did. Obviously, so it's the very end, but where she had me all the way confused is I get upset when people in general want to attach themselves to something that is dealing with African Americans, because so often things that happen with us or movements that we have get hijacked and taken over by someone else. And once they get what they need from it, they throw it by the wayside. Now for her, I'll just say for all intents and purposes, she's an island girl or Pacific Islander. So when you were going at it, we shouldn't have heard women of color. You should have said as a Pacific Islander or whatever your particular ethnicity is, you should have individualized it. And then here's the other thing that people don't want to talk about. And even though I'm not an African-American woman, I'll speak to it and y'all can gather me if I say the wrong thing. But in America, both African-American women and men are not allowed that space to have a rainbow of emotion. All we can do is be happy, because for the women, if they sit here and they have to elevate their tone and get their point across, you're angry black woman, you're this, you're ghetto, you're progetic, you are all of these other adjectives. But people of other ethnicities, especially the dominant society, they can go into their boss's office and cuss their boss out. And they're just expressing themselves. People of other ethnicities can do this and it is okay. But African-American women and men cannot do it. And as an African-American male, we are more heavily looked at because then now we are physically a threat because of our skin color and our height and our gender, where we are quicker to be killed than our female counterpart. So with all of this being said, you trying to sit here and weaponize this movement, it was very distasteful. It was disgusting. And it really made me upset. It pissed me off to a very high level because I hate when that shit happens where you don't, and like she was saying, you're not a woman of color, you don't understand, baby girl, you're not African American, so you will never understand. You will never understand what has happened to African Americans for over 400 years in America. You will never understand. I'm now having to control myself because I'm about to go. I'm trying not to use a whole lot of sentence enhancers. But that is what really had me upset, where it's like you can't compare the. I'm gonna just stop right there. Y'all gonna take it on because I'm really my bad.
I'm about to wrap it up because look, last night y'all was like y'all was because I was texting him because I was ahead of him because he stopped to do his New Jersey live and I was so pissed off and he was like, "You gonna do your review tonight?" I was like, I need to sleep on this thing. Because if I had done it last night, baby. I said, I need to sleep on this thing.
I'm still hot. And I noticed last night she wasn't retweeting like she usually was. Because she knows she was dead ass in the fucking wrong.
Because she probably was getting lit up. I promise you she was.
They were eating her up. There were a few delusional people who tried to make it what it wasn't talking about what she meant. She meant. No, I know what the fuck she meant. I can comprehend, bitch.
Can y'all?
what she did.
Can one of my mods drop El Teddy's channel link in my chat, please? Can one of my mods drop it? And Lilbaby, I'm gonna make you a mod. Y'all, everybody, congratulate Lilbaby.
I got a promotion, y'all.
I don't know if this is a good idea or not. Lilbaby be coming for me. I don't know if I want to give her that kind of power. She be coming for me.
One thing that I did want to say is I don't have a hat on right now, but I want to tip my hat to the European American women that were on that stage, because they did speak with sense, where you had Heather saying that she understands the white privilege. Heather and let me see, one of them said
Meredith said it too. Meredith said it too.
And Whitney said she understands that it's a different ball game, it's different opportunities. And this is one of those where you do not see this often. So the fact that they were conscious enough to know, like, we understand a lot of situations, white privilege does exist, that we are given opportunities that you aren't given. And one thing I will say is I was happy that we got this. Not the BS that, Jigsaw gave us, but I'm happy that we got that.
Right.
So I did want to say that, and I do want to, and I can't put Lisa in it because she was, mum's the word, but I do want to give a hand clap of praise to the other 3 European American women on the opposite side of the stage that were able to speak eloquently and understand, their position in this world. I appreciate that.
But not Lisa.
I just wish it was a stronger force on that stage to say, Jen, knock the bullshit off. You are not about to sit up here and use a societal trope to escape accountability for your poor behavior.
Right.
We're not going to do this.
Let's be clear. If I felt like the women were bullying her, like she really wasn't doing anything, that's one thing. But girl, you've been throwing tantrums since the first episode. Let's be clear.
First episode and over nothing. Running around here, smoking around corners, digging up dirt for Mad Day.
Right. You've been carrying this the whole season, and we get to the reunion and we find out that the whole thing was a damn lie. Girl, if you don't go,
everything about you was a lie. The house is a lie.
And let's be clear, you went out of your way, because I believe it. Ain't nobody gonna convince me differently. Those 3 or 4, and I understand people saying that Mary was always just a friend of the show. I get that. But the fact that they showed her tells me that they were including her in the episode. The fact that for those 3 episodes that Mary sat in her damn house and all she did was answer the phone, and we just saw her in that damn museum ass closet of hers. Listen, that says to me that I believe, just like what y'all was saying about what Shani does when she don't like somebody, I believe Jim was icing her out. So you don't get to stage and proclaim your coloredness, but you were icing out the only other Black woman on the show. Whether you like Mary or not, whether she's crazy as hell or not, you went out of your way to ice that woman out. You went out of your way.
Earlier in the season, I believe Jen Shaw is so used to playing the quote unquote Black one in the group, because sometimes she's mistaken for Black, that she can't handle it when an actual Black woman comes on the scene, and now she got to push that one out of the way, because at times she can be tonguing, but guess what? Sometimes she has to play like she's a Black girl. Like, I just feel she wanted to be the only other on the cast.
As always, thank y'all for being here. Thank you, Lilbaby, and y'all for coming back again this week. We'll be here next Thursday doing the same thing. Y'all join us. We won't have Salt Lake City because they done until whenever we come back. But we will be doing our lives again. I did some really great things happen. This would have been a good day for politics, but we'll do it either tomorrow, or I'm sure El Teddy's about to talk about some of these issues. Some really interesting things have been going down the last couple of days over to the Capitol Hill. So y'all
can I say something?
My mom dropped. Yeah, hold on. My mom dropped the link. So if you're not subscribed to El Teddy, go on over there and subscribe, and meet us over there in about 15, 20 minutes. Lilbaby, you wanted to make some last words?
Yes. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is right around the corner. I expect a trailer. I just saw promo shots. Dorit did something to her face, and Erica Jane looks really good.
Well, listen. I do watch the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and we can add that, since you watch it too, Lilbaby. We can add that to when they come back, because they should be back. You're right. In the grand scheme of rotations, the trailer will probably be out in the next couple of days, and then I'm thinking April. I'm thinking
April.
I can't wait because I didn't review. I just got caught up and I so badly want to say Kyle. I so badly want to do that. What I do, I so badly want to do it.
You're gonna get that opportunity because her sister is on the show this season and they don't get along, baby.
I have yet to see the Hilton's promo shoot.
Sister child, and it's gonna be a whole lot going on with that. But y'all know how much I love Beverly Hills because see that's the real money. Them hoes down in Atlanta really think they doing something. No ma'am. Listen, I tell people all the time. What was that? 2 seasons ago, Lilbaby. When this let you you got caught up, so you know what I'm talking about. Y'all. This is the difference between real money and what they doing down to Atlanta. Them women got mad at Kenya for taking a private jet to go an hour down the road, right? Okay, ma'am, sir. When they went on their group vacation like 2 seasons ago, they were going to a brand new resort down to the Jamaica. This how these hoes was rolling. The resort sent the private jet from Jamaica to LA.
I think that was the Belmar.
Was it Belmar? Okay. The resort. I need y'all to hear what I said just now. The resort sent the jet. So let's start with the fact that the resort had their own jet. Okay. Sent their private jet to LA from Jamaica to LA to pick them hoes up, to fly them back to the resort. And while they were there, they didn't have their own room. They had their own suites with their own concierge service for the individuals.
Like condos.
Okay, let's be clear. They had their own staff for their suite. Okay. While they was there, one of the days that they were there, they went to the private island that the resort owned to hang out and get massages and go swimming. The resort owned the private island. And while they were having their final dinner, just like Postmates, they were sitting at the dinner table. Kyle had bought herself a Rolex earlier in the day. They delivered it to her at dinner. Okay. The man from the jewelry store bought her Rolex to the dinner table because she had to call Mauricio and get permission to buy it. He told her yes. She called back and said, yeah, remember when I was in there earlier, that Rolex I was looking at? Go on and run it. And I'm at the gazebo having dinner. And 20 minutes later, they delivered the Rolex to dinner. See, that's how these hoes down to the Beverly Hills roll. I'm sorry. Go ahead, y'all. I
just want to say one thing, and I'm not bringing up Nene to be real defamatory, but I wish Nene would have played. I wish she would have played her cards right, and because I'm upset. How is it that Lisa Vanderpump was able to not show up to a reunion and formally quit? And she still has Vanderpump Rules showing, and she has a brand new show that is about to air. But Nene can't get a little bit of nothing. Granted, part of it was how she walked, she walked out on her reunion. But y'all get what I'm trying to say. I just wanted to bring it up where I feel like it's some some buffoonery going on.
It's how Nene handled the situation.
Yeah.
Other part of it is that Nene is a loud black woman. I'm sorry, I'm just down. Y'all know I don't play the race card a lot, but listen. Part of it is that Nene handled that situation very badly.
Yeah.
Very badly.
I'm
sorry. And also let's too remember that Lisa Vanderpump was making money for the network before she walked off she had 2 other spinoffs already. She already had 2 other spinoffs. So that sort of was it the problem. She was already making money for Bravo, whereas Nene, they gave Nene her wedding special, but the ratings weren't that good, and so she didn't get more shows, and so she wasn't really making money for the network. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about dollars and cents too. Like we can see, but it's all about dollars and cents. Vanderpump Rules and that other show that she had another show for a while. All of those shows were making money, but it didn't help that Nene. Yeah. The whole time she was renegotiating her contract, she was talking shit about the network. Like, that don't help.
Yeah.
Where they do that at?
I still remember saying last season that taking the private jet to Italy set her back a dress. Go ahead, YahCra.
I was just gonna say, did you remember when they went to Dubai and how they had beautiful suites that were all like, look, they ain't playing around.
Last season when they went to Italy and they shut down Fendi. Did you see that? Did you see when they went to Fendi? I said, bitch, what? And they like that was just the one store that they showed when we saw them coming back and they had the bags. Like they had been to all of them. But they was up in Fendi shopping like I be at Dollar General. Okay. They was getting it in at Fenty. Okay. I was like, girl, okay. Yeah, they don't play down to the Beverly Hills. I mean, and don't get me wrong, some of it is still fraudulent. Like we know the
Yep.
been
very much leased, right? And borrowed and rented.
We still know that some of it is fraudulent, but most of it is not. Most of it is not. Okay. Anyway, y'all, let's get ready to get off of here. I think either El Teddy's already live or I just got the notification that he's going live. So I'm gonna meet y'all over there.
He's live.
Okay, so I'm gonna meet y'all over there. Thank y'all again for being here. Don't forget Shop Avon. Been dropping the link the whole time. Thank you so much to my mod Watermelon Sugar Ebony holding it down. Ebony holding it down. Like, sorry, but I mean, if y'all ain't figured that out by now, I don't know what to tell you. All right, I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.
Bye, guys.
Really? Not the bye, guys.